Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button and tune in every single day. Let's check in with the chat first of all. Good morning to everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, Lord Spud says hit the like button if you want Bitcoin to reach $33,000 by the end of the day. Yes, that would definitely help with the price of Bitcoin. Also, we have a comment here. Novogratz is bullish. He definitely is. I cannot hear that sentence without thinking of that Martini guy's old intro video. It goes around in my head far too often. Before we start today's stream, check out the new studio. What do you guys think? Just been setting this up this morning. I think it's quite nice. Let's see what's going on with the price of Bitcoin now anyway and see what's going on here. Robert says he likes the lights. Thank you, Robert. Let's see what's going on here. Bitcoin is currently sat at $31,150, up 1.74% in the last 24 hours, and Ethereum is up 5.68%. So we've seen a nice move to the upside today. Obviously, this is off the back of XRP winning that lawsuit against the SEC. We've got a huge amount of news to discuss about that today. We are then going to take a look and what's going on with the rest of the cryptocurrency space and what this means for the other altcoins in the markets. It's a very, very exciting time right now. I'm sure you can tell from the big smile on my face this morning. It's been a great 24 hours. So let's take a look at what's actually going on in the news today, what this lawsuit means for the future of crypto. So first of all, we all know now, well, we all should know by now, XRP is not a security, and the judge ruled this yesterday. Now, there's been an ongoing battle with the SEC and crypto for years now. Now, XRP and its founder Ripple have been in a lawsuit against the SEC for 3 years, and this is because the SEC determined that XRP is a security, whereas Ripple was saying no, it is not. So then they've been in this lawsuit and they've spent well over $200 million in legal fees trying to fight for XRP. And when we look at this lawsuit, it doesn't just matter for XRP holders. This has got much wider implications. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about the lawsuit first of all. So the SEC sued on 4 counts of security law violations. So they said that Ripple, for 4 instances of the illegal sale of their token XRP as investment contracts. Now, they said that Ripple was selling investment contracts for institutional sales, for programmatic sales, so for people that buy on digital cryptocurrency exchanges, centralized exchanges like Coinbase and Binance, and for other distributions, so when they were paying their employees in XRP, and then Larson and Garlinghouse offers and sales as well. So there are 4 counts here and 4 different instances where the SEC said Ripple were unlawfully offering securities, unregistered securities, that security being XRP. Now, in the news, we have seen that the court rules in favor of Ripple for 3 of the 4 sales here. Now, this is really important. If an asset is a security, it is regulated by the SEC, and that is not what we want to see here. Now, to determine whether an asset is a security or not, we use the Howey test that was determined in 1946. Yes, a very old test, and a test that we simply cannot apply to digital assets. But here's the test anyway. So the test is that according to the test, a transaction is a security if it is 1, an investment of money, 2, in a common enterprise, 3, with the expectation of profit, or to be derived from the efforts of others. Now, that's really, really important. If one of those conditions fail, the whole thing fails, and it means the asset and the transaction is not a security. So what we've been looking at in this lawsuit is whether the SEC can prove that all of these conditions are met for XRP tokens. Now, first of all, let's talk about the first one here. So Ripple, no, we'll come back to that one. Let's talk about Ripple's programmatic sales. So The court has concluded that Ripple's institutional sales of XRP constituted the unregistered offer and sale of investment contracts in violation of Section 5 of the Securities Act. Now, they've said that tokens being sold to institutions are securities because the institutional buyers reasonably expected that Ripple would use the capital it received from its sales to improve the XRP ecosystem. So that means that yes, that it is an investment of money. It's an investment into a common enterprise with the expectation of profits to be derived from the effort of others. So they're saying institutional investors have bought XRP with the understanding that the money they're investing into XRP is going to help Ripple grow the business through the efforts of Ripple's business. So that's why institutional investors have now it's now stated that they have been buying securities. However, if these tokens go onto a centralized exchange and then dispersed into buyers like you and me, as retail investors, is that still a security? That's the next question here. So this is the topic of sales to public buyers on digital asset exchanges. And we can see here that in this, actually we can pull up this tweet and it will say it here in a little bit more detail. So the sales to retail investors were blind bid ask transactions. So that's when we just bid and ask in the order book on a centralized exchange. And a programmatic buyers should not have known if their payments of money went to Ripple or any other seller of XRP. So what they're saying is, on centralized exchanges, when we're buying and selling, we could just be buying and selling to each other. The exchange could have bought a lump sum of tokens and we're just exchanging amongst ourselves. We're not buying with the intent of our investment going to Ripple to help build the business and help create profits through the efforts of others. So that is why we've said here, and they've said here, the courts have ruled that XRP is not a security when sold on exchanges. And this is where it gets more complicated here, because a lot of people think that we can just look at the asset, confirm these conditions aren't true, and wipe it all out. But when you're looking at the sale of these tokens from a third party, it all becomes very different there, and it's very, very complex. But we can continue with the next one here. So other distributions, which includes compensation to employees as part of Ripple's XSpring initiative, which funded upcoming blockchain projects. It has been determined that, let's get onto this bit, Ripple won in this instance as well. So other distributions underwritten contracts represent $609 million in XRP, and that was distributed in various ways, including as employee compensation and during Ripple's XSpring initiative to help enterprises develop new applications for XRP Ledger. So the court ruled that other distributions did not constitute the offer and sale of investment contracts, and they've said the exact same for Larson's and Garlinghouse's offer on digital asset exchanges. So when we're seeing this, obviously this is a big win for the cryptocurrency space. Hearing that the courts ruled in favor of Ripple for 3 of these 4 accounts is really, really important. The only one that we did not manage to get not as a security is for institutional sales, but this is a really positive thing. Off the back of this news, we have seen Crypto.com, Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini relist XRP. Now, these platforms did choose to delist XRP when this lawsuit first began, and that is because if these websites are known to be offering unregistered securities, then they become an unregistered security exchange and they face lots of problems themselves. We'll get back onto that in just a second though, because it seems like they're facing those problems anyway. Let's get back to the right article here. So what we're seeing here is we have definitely had a win for XRP, and this proves our battle against the SEC, which is that everybody in crypto for years and years and years has been saying the Howey test does not work for crypto. This is a test that was created in 1946, and you now want to apply that to digital assets, but it does not work. The SEC have been saying, no, the regulation's already there. It makes sense. It works as it is. We don't need to change it. The cryptocurrency community have been saying it does not work. It's not clear how we can determine whether a digital asset is a security or not when we're using this old test from the 1946. Now, since then, we've seen a little bit of misunderstanding within the SEC themselves. We've seen the SEC determine that Bitcoin is not a security, which is great. We've, however, not seen much clarity on other tokens, including Ethereum. Now, we've seen Ethereum be labelled as a security before, and we've seen it labelled as a commodity so far. And that lack of clarity from people within the SEC made a lot of people lose confidence in their understanding of what this is. We then saw lots of articles coming out with the Ripple case against the SEC, like the Hinman articles, when we got to see what was really the internal conversations were within the SEC surrounding this case. And now what we are seeing here is, again, the SEC has not been able to understand its own framework enough to be able to determine whether an asset is a security or a commodity or not. And this is why the courts have ruled in favour of Ripple, because the SEC have wrongly determined that this asset is a security. So does this not prove that we need more clarity and regulation? And it proves yet again that the SEC's regulation that they say is clear and already there is not enough. And that is what we've been pushing for in the cryptocurrency space for years now, and it just feels like we are being heard at this point in time. Obviously, we all know now the SEC have filed against Binance and against Coinbase within the last couple of weeks. But what we are probably going to see here is we all have a lack of confidence in how the SEC are now going to win these battles within those filings against the two centralized exchanges. We did see them name many other altcoins as securities, and what we have seen in the last couple of hours is a massive pump and a nice relief rally from those tokens off the back of this. So this isn't just a outcome for XRP. This is setting a precedent for the entire cryptocurrency industry, and this is something that we've said over and over again on this channel. So let's take a look at what is being said over on social media. So we can see here the SEC government have made a comment on this since the announcement, and we can see here this is what the government have to say for themselves. We are pleased that the court found that XRP tokens were offered and sold by Ripple as investment contracts in violation of the securities laws in certain circumstances. Now that sentence is absolutely bizarre. The SEC is put in place to help protect investors. Against a company like FTX, which they did not. So we've seen the SEC and many regulators stepping into the cryptocurrency space within the last couple of weeks and saying, look, we need to regulate this harder following FTX. And yes, it is important to have regulation in place to help protect investors and make sure people like Sam Bankman-Fried aren't taking our deposits and gambling away all of our money. But for them to say they are pleased to have found out that Ripple are offering unregistered securities is absolutely bizarre. I mean, they're pleased that they got one thing right out of four. It's a crazy thing to see here. Yes, before we forget, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button. I've not asked that the whole stream today. Make sure to like 3 times, no, once on as many accounts that you've got. Share the stream with your friends, comment down below, everything you can to help us in the algorithm. We would really, really appreciate it. Let's see what else is going on here in these articles. So we have seen that the SEC spokesperson said the agency is pleased that the court found the XRP tokens were offered as a security. It's not really, I mean, it is a battle between the SEC and crypto at this point, but for the spokesperson to say that and say, yes, we finally found a problem here, I mean, it's just not very professional, is it? So let's see what else is going on here. Hennett says, they even said Coinbase and others rush to delist XRP is something to be concerned about. Everyone must stick together when the regulations come against any form in the industry. That is the only way we will win. Now, this is what we've seen in the last couple of months. So we have seen Coinbase have this filing against them, and we've seen multiple different assets and altcoins being named as securities. But Coinbase have actually said this time, we're not delisting any of these tokens you've named until you can prove in the courts that these are securities. And now that we've seen XRP be labelled not as a security, they've been straight on that, relisting these tokens. So I think everybody is joining together here and being looking at this in the bigger picture and saying, look, this is a big win for cryptocurrency as a whole. It's very exciting to see this here today. I hope everybody made some nice profits yesterday. We can see here XRP as $1 after becoming the 4th largest cryptocurrency. So we did see its market cap grow to $4.97 billion after it scored a partial victory against the SEC. XRP is now listed as 4th in market cap, edging out BNB. Now, obviously, BNB has had a rough time in the last couple of days following the filings from the SEC to Binance, but now we have seen, look at that growth from XRP. It was absolutely insane. I was just looking at this. At first, I was trading Bitcoin. And I was in a long position and I was looking at it and I was thinking, this is pumping out of the ordinary. So I was trying to find all this news, couldn't find where this news was coming from and what was going on in the market. So just had this long position open and Bitcoin was pumping to the moon. And then all of a sudden, about 30 seconds later, all of the news came in, got straight into an XRP long position. It was the way to go. It was a massive move here. And I would just like to say congratulations to all of you that held on to your XRP during that time. XRP is probably the XRP army are probably the strongest cryptocurrency community I have ever seen. They've held on for the last 3 years in this lawsuit and you still hear them parroting on about how great XRP is, and now they've all managed to get that benefit from holding on during those long, hard times. Now, I don't know how many of you guys were in the stream yesterday. I'm not an XRP long-term investor. I was around when the XRP lawsuit started. I got burnt by that, and then I thought, this is going to take years. I'm better off putting my money elsewhere. And that I was right in that decision. I've managed to use my money to make gains elsewhere during that period of time. And then yesterday, I managed to trade that. It would have been great if I'd had a heads up and invested loads of money yesterday, but I wasn't prepared to put my money in for anticipation that the lawsuit was going to end anytime soon. So I've only traded this. But for those of you that have accumulated for the last 3 years, congratulations. That was a hard long slog. What's the sentence? Long old slog, something like that. That's the saying. Anyway, let's see what else is going on here. So XRP could reclaim the $1 price according to some analysts here. So that's a very bullish price prediction there. Nothing we haven't seen before. If we go to cryptosavingexpert.com, take a look at XRP here. It's currently sat at 80 cents there today, up 69% in the last 24 hours. You can see here, if we zoom right in, it's just an upwards line. You can't explain it anything else. It has moved in one direction, and that direction is up. So we can see here, obviously, XRP has been much higher than this price before in the peak of a bull market, but it's not bad now, is it? It's really not bad at all. Let's continue on with some news and see what else is going on in the world of cryptocurrency. We have some other topics to discuss today, and then we'll pull it back to XRP and we'll take a look at what's going on in the charts. But before we do continue with today's stream, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. So what we are going to do here is we're going to take a look at what else is going on in the market. A very interesting proposal from Polygon has come up, actually. Let's take a look at that for a second. Let's pull this up. I'm giving you all the good news first here. So Polygon proposes replacing MATIC with POL token. So this is Polygon looking to replace its native token on the Polygon network. So this is massive news here. I feel like it's being overshadowed slightly from the XRP news, but this is a really interesting proposal. So what we're seeing here is the proposed update for MATIC is part of the broader network redesign to usher in Polygon 2.0, the next iteration of the Layer 2 blockchain, which the team called the value layer for the internet. Now, POL more productive than Bitcoin. So per the announcement, Polygon's POL will be the next leap to what Ethereum's ETH already offers to hold. So Polygon's POL takes the next leap in this direction and introduces the third generation of native assets, hyper-productive assets. So in addition to allowing holders to validate transactions and earn rewards, the proposed Polygon token will have two game-changing improvements. Validators can validate multiple chains, i.e. as many chains as they want. Every chain can offer multiple roles and corresponding rewards to validators. So what we can see here is people trying to stake and support the tokens as much as possible and using just one token to support multiple chains. And this is definitely something that there has been a lot of talk by the Ethereum team. We can see here what happens to MATIC. So POL will completely replace MATIC, meaning there will never be two native tokens for Polygon. So practically speaking, POL is an upgrade and renaming of the MATIC token. So if you hold MATIC, it will just turn into POL. So from the protocol viewpoint, MATIC and Pol would not and cannot coexist. Pol can only replace MATIC. So the holders will receive Pol tokens 1-to-1 after a community consensus has been reached. And following the announcement, the price of MATIC has jumped 14%. Let's see how this has turned out now. I mean, MATIC is going to be one of those tokens that massively pumps off the back of this XRP news as well, because this is one of the tokens that was named as a security in the SEC's lawsuits against Coinbase and Binance. You can see yesterday that we had a huge move to the upside there after some nice uptrends here. Now, MATIC is at a pretty low level right now. It's at 84 cents. We did see it reach up at almost $2.92 at the peak of the previous bull market. So Polygon is a project I'm definitely a big fan of, so congratulations to those holders that have managed to hold on through this time. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news before we get onto the price of Bitcoin and see what else is going on. Please don't forget, before we continue today, to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. First of all, we have total DEX trading volume declined by 24% in Q2 2023. Again, as I said yesterday, nothing to be too concerned about. In Q1 of this year, we saw a 80% rise in Bitcoin, and in Q2 we saw like an overall 13% rise in Bitcoin. So when we don't see that volatility in Bitcoin, it means the volatility in the altcoin market's very low as well, and in that case we're not going to see as much trading volume on decentralized exchanges. It does not mean anything further than that. It's not a long-term problem for decentralized exchanges there, in my opinion. Let's continue here. So Google Play Store welcomes NFTs with policy updates. So in a win for the blockchain gaming industry, Google is preparing to officially embrace NFT games, which changes to its Play Store rules. Now, that's something that is really, really important here. As I keep saying, we have Web 2, we have Web 3. We really lack the bridge to get Web 2 users into the cryptocurrency space. Now, having Google Play Store allowing gaming apps, gaming is one of those industries in crypto which could have a massive influence in the adoption of cryptocurrency. People all around the world would love the idea for play to earn, but right now the games in Web3 just aren't enough. They don't have the adoption factor. They can't compete with traditional games. But if we can at least get them in the Play Store, that's a massive step forwards there, and that is definitely something that I think could help drive adoption in the future. I know a lot of people are fans of crypto gaming because of the adoption it can drive, and now having that bridge into the gaming sector from Web 2 games with Google Play Store is a massive win for the cryptocurrency industry. It's just been win after win after win for the last 24 hours. It's been a huge success. We have also seen, I can't believe this article is so late in the video, US regulators sue Alex Mashinsky 1 year after Celsius's collapse. So he has been sued under breaking laws and defrauding investors. So this is the former CEO of Celsius. Celsius is one of the companies that did not make it through the turbulence of 2022. But on Thursday, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Alex Mashinsky, the former CEO, following the implosion of the company last year. So in this case, Celsius offered and sold sell and the earn interest program as securities. Celsius and Mashinsky never filed a registration statement or had one in effect with the SEC for their offers and sales of securities through the earn interest program. Among other false representations, defendants misrepresented Celsius's central business model and the risks to investors by claiming that Celsius did not make uncollateralized loans, the company did not engage in risky trading, and the interest paid to investors represented 80% of the company's revenue. So massive win for, well, not a massive win for Celsius holders, but it's nice to see repercussions for people like this within the space, and this is what the SEC should be protecting people against. The SEC is there to help protect investors. Now, so far, we've had FTX, we've had Celsius, we've got all of these allegations after people following the companies already filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. What we need to see is this happening prior, so people don't lose all of their funds. Now, what we are seeing right now is obviously we need some change for the regulation in cryptocurrency. The XRP lawsuit is a brilliant example, and I think that will push the regulators to start thinking about this industry a whole lot more and really listen to what we have to say and provide some clarity around regulation, and that is a really important move forwards. I mean, we can look at this lawsuit, and obviously it's a win for us in the battle between the SEC and crypto, but in the long term, this just proves that we can build. It's massively pushed us forwards in this space. Even if Ripple lost this lawsuit against the SEC, crypto's not going anywhere. It would have just pushed us back, but this massively accelerates us forwards, and that's a really positive thing to see. Let's continue with today's news. Then we're going to get onto the price of Bitcoin. First of all, Europe's first Bitcoin ETF set to launch this month, and Australia, actually, just before I got on this live stream, I read that Australia have just had their first spot Bitcoin ETF application today as well. So it's spreading like it normally does. We've seen BlackRock, and then we're seeing it around the rest of the world. We already have spot Bitcoin ETFs in other regions outside of the US, but obviously having BlackRock involved, the biggest asset manager in the world, is a massive, massive deal as well. We also have seen Snoop Dogg and A16Z participate in funding round for Web3 music firm Sound. So the company has secured $20 million in Series A funding, and the round was led by The Crypto, a prominent venture capital firm specializing in crypto and blockchain investments. So if you are interested in that, I'll drop the link to that in today's stream. Let's see what's going on in the chat today. Before we continue today's stream, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, so if you are not here, please don't forget to, if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. What else we have in today's stream is the Bitcoin analysis. Let's see what is going on here. So it is Friday. We are going to see that CME Gap open tonight. What does that mean for the price of Bitcoin? Let's pull this up on the 4-hour chart quickly and see what's going on here. So far, we have seen Bitcoin have that massive move to the upside. Thankfully, thanks to that XRP lawsuit. Now what we have here is we have a previous level of resistance at $31,250. We have now broken back down below that. That is not what we wanted today, Bitcoin, but we have a more important level of previous resistance to look at, and that is at around, let's pull these levels up here. So I'm taking a look at this point here. Now this is the point at which we saw a level of resistance here, and it looks like we could potentially be bouncing that right now. We've got 6 minutes left in this 4-hour candle, so that could be a level of support right now. We also have this level here, this yellow one here at $30,900. I've just broken my line there, and then we also have one down here at $30,680. Now what we have seen is a massive move to the upside for the entire cryptocurrency industry. Some people may be choosing to take profits at this point. I'm feeling super bullish here that we have seen that nice breakout to the upside. If we take a look at the CME gap, let's take a look at what can be in store this weekend. So what's going to happen this weekend is we are going to see the CME gap open. Now the CME is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. It's operational every Monday to Friday, but when it's not, we end up having, when it's closed over the weekend, we end up having gaps in the price chart there. And you can see this happens over and over again. And those gaps act like magnets for the Bitcoin price. So only once Bitcoin has traded within that gap range again, can we say that gap is filled and it no longer acts like a magnet. So if we zoom out here onto the bigger time frames and take a look at the daily chart, you can see here that we have a CME gap down here from back in March 2023 at $20,335. We also have a CME gap up at $35,200. Both of these acting like magnets for the Bitcoin price. Obviously, we are closer to that $35,200 level there. We are also going to see another CME gap opening tonight. So what we typically see over the weekends is sideways action. But if we start to move to the upside over the weekend and start to see some more upwards movement, we could see another CME gap opening below us. So that's something we need to keep in mind here, and something we will be discussing on Monday's live stream, because typically when we see CME gaps being formed, we usually see the CME gaps being filled within the next week. Now, in terms of probability for 2023, it's highly likely that the CME gap gets closed and filled the week after it is formed. So we talk about that on a Monday here on these live streams, because it gives a pretty good indication of where the markets are going to go. And we actually see CME traders in the markets as well, where people just trade based on the gaps from the weekend. Will trade every single week with a probability of those gaps being filled. So Obviously, trading is based on probabilities, and when you have something like this, it's great to take advantage of. We will be talking about that on Monday's stream as well, and we'll talk about what happened over the weekend, where the CME Gap is, and what the prediction is for the week. So make sure if you have not yet liked and subscribed, you please do so, and press that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Now, I've got 5 minutes until my next meeting, so let's zoom out a little bit and see what's going on for Ethereum instead, actually. I was going to say Bitcoin on the bigger scale, but let's take a look at Ethereum. So what we can see here is I've not changed these lines on this chart for literally weeks. And you can see here that we were in this descending triangle. We then had a breakout, and this previous level of resistance and support has acted as a level of support twice now. And that has been on this chart for weeks. So you can see this is between the $1,823 level and the $1,837 level. We've had a nice move to the upside right now. As I've labeled on this chart before, this is one of my most profitable trading strategies, and this is something that I use very, very frequently. So what I like to do is take the distance between the top of the candles in that downtrend there and the distance between this one here as well. And I like to look at these as levels of resistances that we need to reclaim. So what I would like to see right now is that we've hit this level of resistance here. Let me pull out the pen, the drawing tool, so we can see. We also actually had one which we can use as a previous example of this one here. Now, obviously, we have had a little bit of a downturn since this, but it still works pretty well. We saw a breakout of this declining level of resistance. We used it as a resistance, that first zone, this zone here. And then we came down again, and then we retested it and managed to reclaim it. So then we obviously had that downtrend, but now what we are seeing is we've managed to hit this level of resistance. If we see a daily candle close above this level at $20,020, I would then be looking to use this zone as a support, and that zone is between the $1,990 level to the $20,020 level. If we use that as a level of support, then I'd next go on to the next zone. Now, obviously, it doesn't have a 100% success rate, but this is one of my most profitable trading patterns. It's something I love to see in the charts because it tends to use these levels pretty nicely every single time. And obviously with Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can predict them a little bit better than the rest of the altcoins. But yes, it is looking pretty good what's happening right now. Let's take one last look at XRP and see what's going on there. Relisted on all of the major exchanges. If we take a look at the daily chart there, a massive gain there. Let's see the percentage change from yesterday. So in one day, we saw the daily candle open to close increase 74%. That is something that is pretty unheard of in the stock market, so we should be grateful for the volatility we see in crypto. That is all we have for today's stream, so thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I hope you have enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button. I need to go and get a drink of coffee now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all back here on Monday. Goodbye. Goodbye.